Sweet. We are live. What, there's like 8 minutes, so let's see what we can do before then. Not gonna be able to get a Hell Tide, but some of these whispers down here. Good.
Not while I'm in town.
Edit Hive. I like these. These are like super quick. Kind of annoying though. Cool. Well, usually these are really quick. Alright. 12:54. Let's see if I can get one more. Let's do this corpse. I did not mean to do that. So annoying going south and having my mount slow down because of this menu bar, the HUD. Oh, that was easy. Here we go. Is that the champion? Oh, where's the champion? It wasn't labeled a champion, that was weird. Well. I have time. Yeah, I got 3 minutes. I'll go over to the stream at 12:58. Less than a minute. Can I get this? I should be able to get this, right? Alright. This will get it to me and then I'll go over to the stream. Can I deposit these time. I just hate to exit out and lose the modes. Got it. All right. That went smooth. Oh, please don't. No. Okay. And right. I hate how they do this. Well, no, it's still not one yet. Hopefully they start right on time. I can't stand it when people say, oh, stream starting at this time, and then 20 minutes later you still have a screen like this. I will never do that. I don't really stream that much, but if I did, I would never do that. Let's go.
Hello.
That's it? That's how you open? Hello.
I'm going to do that every single time.
Hello.
Welcome to another Diablo developer update live stream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise. We've got some wonderful people here. We just have Rod.
Yeah, well,
Rod.
I'm not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah. He decided to insert himself as of yesterday, so...
What is the power? If you have power, you should use it whenever possible, and I've decided to. So
we have Rod here, who is, of course, the general manager of the Diablo
universe.
Universe.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way.
All
to say
things Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. And of course, we have Chris Leal.
Does that dude have a comb over? Like what?
And Ryan Quinn.
Hi, I'm senior narrative designer on Immortal.
So we are actually starting off
like
today's show with
perfect
some Diablo Immortal
hairline, but it's weird.
Also, I do want to mention we're using new fancy mics today.
Ooh.
We've been joking around, and I call them the Britney Spears mic.
Right.
Rod calls them the Janet Jackson mic.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson.
It's because I'm older.
Rod, but is not wearing one.
Wow, that made me feel old.
It doesn't take a genius to see the size of my head, and the ability to put that little wire around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
Disappointing. But he does have a really good impression of Britney Spears.
I am not doing it now.
Oh.
I am not doing it.
Okay, maybe we can get it out of him.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during Q&A. Someone asked that question.
Two guys in the middle are nervous.
We'll make sure to bring that up.
For good reason.
And there you go. You're just on the spot.
Kind of a lot riding on
I
us.
think it's important that, like, last time you clarified what we were doing was the campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates we just want to be able to talk to the community.
Yes.
This is more of a developer stream, so it's a bit more official.
Yes.
But one of the things we wanted to recognize too is that as a family of games, there's lots of cool stuff happening within in Diablo, and so we don't always want to just be focused on just D4. We want anytime there's something.
Oh my
big
God!
or really
Don't talk
interesting
about
happening
Immortal.
within Diablo,
Don't
we
talk
want to be
about
able to talk
Immortal.
about it. I could imagine we're going to have a season
I
29
know.
conversation for Diablo 3 at some point in the future.
Okay, that's fine.
And so one of the things we're going to look at,
They're gonna
today
do a
was
character
not just
for
talk
Immortal.
about, we are definitely going to talk about
Just
season
spend
1
like
on
2
Diablo
seconds
4.
doing this.
And for some reason, Adam has structured this to be as tantric as possible. We'll get there, trust us, but it's going to take a minute. But what we really want to look at as well is we want to talk about we're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason before we go into season 1. We're going to talk about what's going on with D4 today, because we actually have some news about today. Another tease, didn't mean that. And and then we want to talk a little bit about Diablo Immortal, because something pretty incredible is happening in Diablo
Nobody
Immortal. Which
cares.
is, in nearly a decade, we're having our first new Diablo character class is being revealed, and we wanted to reveal it here on this stream. So, one of the great things about Blizzard is the SFD team, story and franchise, and Blizzard
Just
Video,
spend, like-
and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought,
This
how
better be
can we
quick.
introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video to go with it? So, without further ado, may we present to you the new Diablo character class coming to Diablo Immortal very, very soon.
You know what's gonna suck is this probably is gonna look awesome.
The darkness has always been with us. And humanity is right to fear it. The darkness wants to consume you and all you love. But my kind claim its power and wield it.
Of course, it would look so awesome.
Humanity is right to
What
fear
up, Josh?
darkness.
This is a Diablo Immortal character.
And the
He look-
darkness fears me.
And I hate it because it looks so cool. Just wasted in Immortal. The Blood Knight. Dude, that thing looks so awesome. I'm not gonna play it though.
And there we have it.
Shame on you
The
if you do
new
play it.
Class coming to Diablo and Diablo Immortal. It's the Blood Knight.
July 13th. That's
July
like
13th.
a little over a week away.
Exactly.
Sounds like there might have been some encoding issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that some people are talking about there's a little bit of
Yeah, I
fixing on it
know.
and so forth. I will say that we actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog on DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. So
Hopefully
people
they can
actually
bring
check
it to
out. It'll be
D4 like
YouTube, along
later
with all
on.
the details that we're about to talk about. We just like to get ahead of ourselves. That's
Sure.
all. But obviously, first new class to the Diablo universe in nearly 10 years. I think there's a lot of questions in regards to like the story and so forth behind the Blood Knight. Ryan,
That is crazy
Give us
that
a little bit of background
They
regarding.
haven't had a
the
new
Blood
character
Knight.
in over
Yeah,
10
sure.
years.
So I think historically, when we released DI, we released it with these sort of 6.
This guy's got
very,
like
very
that
familiar,
Donald
very
Trump
stalwart
comb-over
classes
type
that
deal.
all of us love, that many of us have been playing for decades. And
mean, he's
it's
rocking it,
great
don't
to
get me
kind of
wrong,
indulge
but-
in that nostalgia, it's great to get that dopamine hit of playing a classic. But after 6 classes, it left us with the opportunity to do something that felt really new.
I wish I could get my hairline.
Do a supernatural class that's kind of monstrous, that does things.
I need to
that
figure
all
out how he
other
does
dark
that, because
classes like the necromancer
Look down on that.
and
You can
the
see I
demon
got that
don't do.
receding.
And so we're really
receding
stoked
hairline.
about the opportunity to release the Blood Knight on everybody.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, everyone's kind of seeing the Blood Knight, and they're thinking, like, is this like vampiric in some sort of way, or like how does this fit in with the actual lore within Diablo?
Right. So the fine details are Blood Knights and vampires are intertwined. On Sanctuary, vampires are kind of like living plagues. They go from hunting ground to hunting ground. They kill people, they bite people, and sometimes people who they've bitten, they suffer this monstrous transformation. They start to devolve into what we call.
I wonder if this dude
kind of
probably
like
came up with this
lesser
concept,
vampiric
and that's
beings, long
badass.
teeth, hunger for blood, all that stuff. And a Blood Knight is a person who, through means of an ancient ritual, has that curse of thraldom arrested inside them, frozen essentially in place.
Just imagine
They
like
get some advantages, but they
the
get some
pinnacle
drawbacks,
like
too.
achievement.
What do you mean? The
You know,
curse of
like
turning into
creating
thrall is
something
the
like
drawback?
this, and you're like, man, I get a
Well,
character that gets put into a
their
Diablo
thraldom is
game.
essentially on
It's like your dream come true, and they're like, we're gonna
basically
put it in
what
Immortal.
happens is a Blood Knight, also preternaturally strong and fast, can see in the dark, can smell blood from
That would
miles
suck.
away, doesn't
I mean, I
age
guess you
anymore.
get paid either
It's
way,
just
but-
some concept art, very, very fancy. But on the flip side, you know, they have these blood red eyes, they have black veins in their face,
Right.
makes people uncomfortable. And
don't see
maybe,
why.
yeah, I know, right?
I mean, it's cool.
And sort of more pivotally than that, you know,
Their
deep
arms,
inside
too,
their soul,
just
there is an abomination,
covered in that,
a monstrous
blood.
darkness that hungers for violence. And in order to tamp that down, in order to slow their transformation further, they have to perform a ritual. That keepsake that you saw in our cinematic character's right hand, the little thing on the chain.
Oh, the chain, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically their lifeline.
I
So,
see.
so
Like
like
a link to their past.
yeah. It's got a memento with
Watch out, Nintendo's coming for you.
They were kind of truly human.
Right.
And so every morning, noon, and night, they're doing ablutions with this thing to hopefully continue to keep the darkness at bay. But, you know, it's a process.
Right.
The ritual, it's hearsay.
Yeah,
You know,
Paladin
it's
would
been
be
passed
dope.
down for hundreds of years. And for basically every Blood Knight, you know, it may
They're not
fail
going to announce
at
anything
some
like.
point. All Blood Knights are doomed.
I mean, I don't
one
think they're
day
going to announce
to
for
become
Diablo
a
4
curse.
any
I don't know if that's one day,
big
1
changes,
year,
'cause we had that
1,000
patch
years.
just
Could
like-
be
They don't know.
centuries,
Right, yeah.
right? They're,
was patched
they're very,
last
very long
week,
lived.
and that was a
What
pretty
they-
big patch.
What they do know, and what they pledge on.
No, there's not gonna
is
be
that
no,
they're
like,
gonna use all of the time they
oh,
have
the loot
left.
system's going to be changed, or they're not going to make. I think this is purely just going to be season
Ultimately,
1.
for
Here's
them,
what it
since
is.
That is such an
They-
uncertain question. It's really about
They
their
promised-
inner sense of balance. Can I do enough good
Right.
to make up for
They
the evil
promised
will
that,
rise when I'm gone?
The first season of Diablo 4 be bigger and better than anything they did in D3.
There earlier, and that art is gorgeous looking.
Dude, that ethereal
at the same time,
season
they're very pretty.
in D3 was one of the most fun things I've ever played.
So pretty.
If you were going to turn into a monster, you'd want to stop
Or
there,
it's funny
right?
because they're very like.
So
they're
if they
very,
make
like,
this better than
gorgeous
that,
here, and then they
hey,
turn into the abomination, which is really
they'll have me
nice to
hooked
see.
for
It's like
a little while longer at least.
opposite
Well,
of what it
I
is.
mean, you mentioned the abomination. I think we saw the Blood Knight turn into this creature during that. So what actually is going on here? Like this is I guess Chris will talk eventually about like how an abomination comes to me. But this is basically them tapping.
When I
into
talk,
what's
is it
inside
okay?
them
Like, can you still hear the
change
video
form.
and me?
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
or
letting
do I
the
need to
curse off
turn
the leash just a little bit.
the video
It's
down
gonna
a little
grant
bit, or
them
turn myself
extreme power
down?
in the short term.
This is a Bruce Banner Hulk thing.
Yeah, but maybe there's a little anime teardrop there of like, do I come back from this?
Right. Okay. Got it.
Awesome. Well, I know with the Blood Knight.
Okay, cool.
Obviously, like
You can still
it's
hear him pretty
new
well,
Class. How
though.
does it fit, Chris, into the like a gameplay style? Like, what if you're playing at Blood Knight? What can you expect the style to be as a person that's actually jumping into Diablo?
Yeah, so the Blood Knight is actually a melee hybrid class, meaning there's tons of up-close combat with polearms. However, they have a host of
Okay.
shadow and blood abilities they can use to manipulate the battlefield in their favor. I
Is that
think
okay?
The drawback of Blood Knights might be that players that start playing it might feel that their mobility is limited. However, they have tons of legendary essences to help them improve the ability to close the gap on enemies. as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat sequences.
Got it. So like in combat more often, close combat, so there's
All right, sweet.
more damage, but then they have abilities themselves
Thanks.
to actually essentially drain, as we can see, kind of like life from others, essentially replenish their life while they're in combat.
There is zero chance I play Diablo Immortal, but this class looks awesome.
The skewer.
The skewer attack is my favorite.
Just
thing
the lore
right now.
alone.
It's like, so what's happening
Seems
there?
cool.
We saw it in the trailer. We see it here as well. Is where
But can we talk
basically
about
you stab
how
an enemy smashed around like as
They
if
very
a
clearly
hammer,
put this
so-
at the very beginning so that people would have
Just
to
like, yeah,
watch it.
basically,
Maybe
yeah,
get interested in
it's like-
Diablo Immortal.
It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
But it actually has a stun as well, right? It's not just the attack on the one thing that you skewered. It actually.
We're gonna spend
It has an
15
area
minutes
Yeah, so the Blood Knight
seeing a Diablo.
stabs their polearm forward,
Immortal
to the closest enemy, then
class.
swings overhead the enemy.
It
and
is
slams
smart,
into
but,
the ground,
you know.
stunning everyone in a small AOE. And there are also legendary essences that let you lunge forward or actually leap to perform the slam.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then I know, like, of course, with every class in Immortal, they all have different ultimates depending on their primary attacks.
They just didn't make Immortal
kind of, two different ultimates.
so pay to win.
With the blood.
That could have been the
Yeah, we can
perfect
talk a bit
mobile
about
game.
The primary attacks. The first is Ravage. They're basically
I don't
swinging
play
the
mobile
sword
games
around
at all, but I would
combo.
for
Right
sure
there is
play
the ultimate where they
Diablo
a
Immortal
5-hit combo
if
with
it wasn't so
stun.
predatory.
And
Dual
the-
wielding pole arms. That's. I like.
And the other primary attack they have is called Shadow's Edge. It's quite a unique one. It's the first in Immortal where the in melee range, the Blood Knight will do a slash, and for enemies that are further away, they'll actually throw the dagger forward. And there are legendary essences that add damage over time or make the dagger ricochet.
Nice. So you can essentially. It's good room clear type of abilities. is
Imagine
what
how
I'm
strong
hearing.
you'd have to be
So
to
if
hold
you got a
two
ton of
pole
buffs,
arms like
especially,
that and just-
if the daggers are ricocheting and you mentioned piercing and so forth with the ultimate and everything, you can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So
The
it's awesome to hear.
balance.
I know, as you mentioned beforehand,
Takes so much strength.
tons of legendary essences and everything that are associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and we're even seeing here, this is like the abomination.
It's weird. Their audio, whenever they cut to a new
Why would I
clip,
wanna become
it's like they show the
abomination?
game audio
Yeah, so I'll
for
talk
like
about
or they
Abomination.
let you hear the game audio for a
The way
split
it works
second.
is it is a transformative skill that requires the
Think they'd have
hitting
that.
enemies to fill the bar, much like your old.
Hell, if I can have that
However,
down
it
and I'm
happens
just
much
some
more
dude,
often, and it then
You'd think
transforms your
Blizzard could have
entire
that
skill
down.
bar into a new primary attack, followed by two specific skills: a blood rush, where the Blood Knight actually dashes forward in a ball of blood. And then there's a 3-hit combo attack where if on the last hit they fly into the air and slam the ground, stunning everyone. A lot of stun.
that looks cool.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome to see. I think with this update that's coming out on the 13th and the Blood Knight itself.
Dude, look at that
there are,
Nereus
like,
statue
these
in the
other
back.
Components and that are kind of going to be coming with this actual update. Do you guys have any like additional information on?
Well, there's ways to play it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so the things that's really interesting. Like, this is, I think, having a new character class introduced on basically the anniversary of Diablo Immortal is really exciting. Like, it's a great way to celebrate 1 year that Immortal has been. It's hard to believe it's already been a year. It's crazy. But so having a new character, but I've been like a whirlwind barbarian for a year now, and loving that. And so now I'm going to obviously. Well, one of the great things about Immortal is that you can class change. So I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian. I know that's not high. Thank you very much. I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian and turn it into a Blood Knight. Yes. Because there's basically
Yes.
3 ways. We have the player who's been playing for a year, like myself. We have the new player, and we have the test driver. Right, is the way to think about that. So maybe you can go through that.
Yeah, totally. So if
Dude,
you're
we're gonna
brand new to
spend-
Immortal and have never played before, you can play. The
It's
Blood
been
Knight right out of the
16
gate.
minutes
It's
and
a
they're
new
still
character,
talking about
completely
this
free,
Diablo Immortal
and
character.
the main story.
Nobody's
complete,
watching for this.
Custom Blood Knight VO lines for all of the main quests. And for players like Rod who have been playing
And if
for a
you
while
are, shame
and
on
want
you.
to convert to this class, I'm happy to say that we've made some major improvements to class change. Strength and intelligence will now convert properly.
I know it's a huge request that a lot of people are asking for. Yes.
Yes, it's going to be great. And also, players will be able to.
What level are you
during the
now,
event,
Josh?
Change to the Blood Knight on a one-day cooldown, and also revert back infinitely. So if you decide you don't like playing the Blood Knight, you can revert the day of, or if you want to try it again tomorrow, you can go ahead and change back to the Blood Knight.
Nice. Awesome.
And lastly, I want to talk about the Crimson Plane event. So for Immortal players that are familiar with Fractured Plane, there will be a special Crimson Plane event where there'll be.
So I mean, I think a lot maybe.
Did you see the teaser for season 1 that they released? I think earlier today.
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal, where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh.
And
so you're taking your character like
they had a map and it just was like corruption taking over. It was like this black fog taking over Sanctuary.
Here's some random skills. See how far you can get with this, and you build up your gear and stuff as you're playing.
Really wasn't much revealed. It was just a teaser.
And so now for the Blood Knight introduction, you've created Crimson Plains, which is a version of the same experience to go and test drive all the different Blood Knight skills?
Exactly. So you'll be able to try out different skills and legendary essences without actually committing to changing to the class. So just try it out, see if you like it, and if you do, there's always class change available.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. So we have, and we have other things like I mentioned that are coming in this actual update. I know that for any new player that's coming in, of course, they can create a Blood Knight, how we mentioned beforehand.
What?
Customize
We don't
it,
have that in
and it's
Diablo
completely
4.
Free, and then, of course, any existing character can do class
What?
changes if they want, or they can create a new character if they would like to do it that way as well. But I know we have like a new legendary.
The hair
gem
is
that's
like my
coming in
biggest
this
complaint
actual
with the
update, as well.
character creator
and then we even have
in D4.
just other like items associated with this specific patch that'll be
a
hitting
full
as
set
well.
of legendaries for the Blood Knight too.
Yeah,
which is
and
great.
we're actually going to be listing out every single legendary
the blog, yeah.
that is available for the Blood Knight on our blog immediately after the stream. So you guys can check out the cinematic trailer that we showed off for the Blood Knight earlier on that blog, and of course read all the details about what's coming in this update that is hitting on the 13th of July. So soon. It's crazy. We do. We're super stoked. The cinematic is amazing, by the way. I just want to
Why are you,
highlight.
for people who didn't get to see it in full?
Of course, Blizzard always nails those cinematics.
Essentially, yeah.
Always.
like,
Watch it again, please.
See it in the Blizzard Cinematics team. Amazing team. That cinematic is great. Nothing
They really
like
are.
seeing
I mean, I
blood
can't think of
splattered all
another
over some stained glass. It's
game
Diablo.
franchise that does it
Makes
better.
perfect sense. It's great. But we are super stoked. So yeah, July 13th is when it's going to be coming out. And then, of course, again, check DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. We'll have a blog up there for people to check out. All the
Yeah,
details.
congratulations, guys, on the
Yep.
year. It's been an amazing year for Immortal. And I think people who maybe tried it at launch and haven't gone back to take a look at it, like basically every quarter we do major updates and really change the game. So the ability to craft set items, the ability to take your duplicate legendaries and turn that into a currency so that you can make your current legend, stronger, and the way that you do dungeons now, and the tower, the clan play, there's just so much else going on. So it's a free-to-play game. If you want to go check it out, just to see all the changes. Like I said, there's been in a year. It's to me, it's a completely different game in the sense of the different ways that you can approach the content, which is exciting. But
Are there still predatory
the fact that you fully
microtransactions?
supported all VO for the Blood Knight for the
Yes.
campaign, I think it'll be.
So I'm
exciting
not
when that
interested.
comes over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair of really, really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast.
I'm curious if they go into the details of the battle pass.
And bloodlust and action all the way through. They've got some interesting takes on.
Surely
I was
they'll
gonna say
at
the
least
name of
touch
the
on
game,
it.
our Act 3.
Yeah, the Overwatch ones are cool.
Darkwood. Some interesting perspectives there. But yeah, I don't think there's ever really been a better time to re-roll, to start a new run through the main story.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much, and congratulations.
Thanks so much,
thank you.
Rod. We're stoked.
And we're going to be now switching over to D4
Should
content.
be,
We're actually
dude.
gonna take a really short break.
pretty
We're going to
cool.
swap people in. This room's only so big.
It's just unfortunate that you're-
We also need mics off of people and everything. But
Diablo
we're going to
Immortal.
be swapping in into our Diablo 4 segment. So we'll see
Right.
you in a minute or so.
Let's go. What is this?
Din honom exousia
Oh, this was the hype cutscene. Dude, this cutscene was so awesome. It really is. It's like the best cinematic I've ever seen. I don't think they're gonna show the best part, but they just spoil it for all the people watching that haven't gotten to it yet.
May we fight true in his holy name. Blessed be the light.
The music, dude.
I have returned to hell for you.
How'd that work out for you, buddy?
And we're back.
What happened to the awkward hello? You're supposed to go, hello.
That's gonna be my intro
I'm
for
technically
everything.
not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
So
really nice.
Tim is just gonna talk for the rest of the stream.
Wow, okay.
And-
I didn't prepare for that at all. All right.
Surprise.
Maybe you should actually introduce people.
Yes,
Or...
I will introduce people. We are now joined by our wonderful Diablo 4 developers. We have Tim Ismay. May introduce you.
Hello.
Pi Peoria? Or Pi Peora?
On Diablo 4, specifically focused
Cool last name.
on seasons. I say that because if you ask me questions outside of the seasons context, I have no idea what's going on.
And you said plural.
You said
Wait,
plural.
there's more than one
I
season.
was trying to build more than one
season.
There is more than
Tim
one
Ismay. I think about Tim A from South Park.
Or that's job security right there.
I'm actually just asking for it. Yeah.
Wait, we're supposed to be thinking about job security? Damn it.
And we have
Oh,
a
yeah.
familiar face.
Joey P.
Yes, I'm Joe Pipora. I'm the Associate Game Director for the live service, and I'm excited to talk about Season 1 today, at last.
But first,
But first.
Oh, but first, that's right.
because Adam has built
We can't-
everything possible
we
to talk
can't
about
start-
except the season.
Right, we can never start talking about seasons until we talk about something else first. But there are cool things to actually talk about.
Correct. Obviously, it's been a little over a month since Diablo 4's launched.
It's only been a month.
Is it? Well, if you
No,
include
no, but you're right.
access.
It is.
Yeah.
I always, the amount of feedback we get about like, hey, this thing, and you're
It
like,
does
it's been
feel like it's been longer.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah, give us a second.
Exactly.
So,
It has been a month, a little bit more than a month since Diablo 4 has
wait,
actually
how did you
launched.
guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game launched.
that's smart.
We actually released it.
We're extremely good at our job.
Wait, so you
I don't want to get in
started
the weeds,
before the
everybody.
game
I don't
launched?
want to get in the weeds, everybody, but like we did start before the game launched to make sure that we could actually release.
I thought you were just
something
going to say zombies are really easy to make, and so therefore it was.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they've got season
Also,
2
people are saying
done.
that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My mic
Yeah,
is low.
so I don't
Okay,
know if
I'll bring it in a little
we'll
bit.
fix that. I promise. Live broadcast,
I
everyone.
feel like that guy's mic is low.
Everybody, that's
he
what's
can,
going to take.
He can start screaming.
Just scream, everybody.
Man, you haven't seen
So I
Joey P
interrupted. So
scream.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're talking
Sorry,
about the 5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing. But anyway, so yes, it's been 5 weeks.
Obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between. Where we talked
Why
about,
did they call it a campfire chat? I never even. Does anybody know?
Before season 1.
13-page.
Yes, 13-page. Which people are like, well, that must have been like 14.5, double spaced. And I'm like, maybe it was, but it still was very big. It was like 11 pages and went on the actual site. But we've addressed a lot of feedback and everything related to the game. We still have more feedback that we're actually going to be addressing. And I will say that later this afternoon there is going to be another patch, climb patch. Surprise!
Wow.
Spoilers.
Was not a
announcement.
What?
We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will be patch notes posted this afternoon. Very much not as chonky as 103, but it does address additional feedback and issues that people have been reporting.
Yo, that's a good surprise. Okay, let's see what's.
Come on, put you on the spot.
Funny enough, did I actually have this printed out?
I don't think you can say that 1.04 is coming this afternoon and not give an example of something we're fixing in 104.
Yeah, I like this guy in the end.
Actually, doing a gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide chests, so that Helltide chests will now actually drop unique items.
Yeah, have the chance to drop unique items.
Hold on, time out. Weren't we told that they had like the best chance to drop like the ultra rare items like Shakos and stuff?
Okay, that sounds stupid for me as a.
I mean, that's good, but
I thought
I could have sworn. Yeah.
So I was mistaken.
That's what we were told.
Yeah. It's so there are some content types that the rewards are not dropping like unique items from it. So like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Yeah, but I thought they told us in the previous one.
There's opportunities for us to continue to try to expose this more as we talk about these things.
Because that's what Sean was saying a couple days ago.
This is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds they need to grab in order to bring those things online, that those Whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not Whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the Helltides events. Those are really good opportunities to go and try to go for those.
And that's this afternoon. So once 104 goes out, once your
uniques
can drop in.
That's right. That's right.
That's a good
afternoon.
Yep, and
very good change.
We've been getting, like we've mentioned, I think many times already in this stream, we have been getting a lot of feedback related to bugs, issues, or even just like general gameplay feedback. And it's something that the team has been reading through and getting through. And those are things that obviously we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like this is the thing I was making the joke about. They started before, like seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations. Like we're moving as fast as we can, but we have to move also safely, because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game.
What this guy's saying is totally understandable. They're not
as reactive.
We can be upset
but
that
in a safe way,
things aren't the way that we think they should be.
One was
but
already well in flight, and
this is the situation, and
so we're trying to make those adjustments. So we hear the feedback. So please
this dude's
don't
totally
take the
right.
lack of instantaneous response as in we don't hear you. We hear you. We hear about I want to lock my inventory.
I hate that. We hear you. How many of you had bosses that you talk to them and they're like, oh, we hear you.
And we're doing our best to address it as quickly and as safely as possible. So, so just trying to manage expectations that sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 weeks. This is a game that we are going to, we're going to support for years to come. This is a foundation of, we said the launch was the beginning, not the end. And so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons and through expansions and what have you. And so please just allow us some time to catch up and work through our backlog.
Expansions.
And I do want to note that we're, as we were in preseason, we were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game, so it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey guys, what a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people start to find some familiarity with how we actually update the game around seasons and client patches that may occur, whether they are in between or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out, and people then know what to expect going forward when we do have different updates or different patches that actually do.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we have now talked about things we did in the preseason. We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombies! Season 1. So we're actually now going to talk about. No, I'm just kidding. We do want to talk about Season 1. Season 1 is coming, and we actually have a really cool trailer to show off before.
All right, here we go.
So hit it, Rich and Matt.
I am writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I have found a way to stop this plague, to rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them. But I cannot do this alone. My allies have fallen. My strength is dwindling. The Malignant are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
Okay, not gonna lie, I was expecting a little bit more from that trailer.
And there we have it. The first season of Diablo 4 coming out on July 20th. The season of the Malignant. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, a lot of people want to know what's going on. You know, we even teased it on social media yesterday where something was corrupting Sanctuary. I guess Tim, Joe, like explain to us what's going on now.
So Season 1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game is going to basically take place after the events of Diablo 4. So after the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary, kind of step off from that point. And there is a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary. There's this malignance, there's this corruption that's begun to spread throughout like the hearts of the creatures throughout the world, and that's everything from like beasts to humans to demons themselves, everything in between can be corrupted by this malignance as beginning to take root and fester inside inside people. And it's basically kind of like it's changing them. Right, it's turning them into these bloodthirsty fiends. Effectively, they're going out and trying to destroy everything. And it's threatening Sanctuary at a very, very, very high level. The player's going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to over the course of the season, named Cormund, who we actually saw in the trailer there. Cormund is, there he is. Cormund is an ex-member of the Cathedral of Light. He used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light. And he's taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these days following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign. But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. Would you say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormund?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the problem on his own, and then I think when it's
like Armin from Lost Ark,
he comes to the player and says, "Hey, you were really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you?" So that's kind of where things start.
Yeah, he's very. I think that you'll find like he's a person. Everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, "I can fix it. You know, we can find a way to solve this, right?" But he's a great new character that the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. Now, and players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad. And they're going to gain access to the beginning of the story of the season pretty much right away. You know, so you're able to start off right at level 1, like jumping out of the gate and be able to start like following the thread of this new season storyline.
And we're going to talk about
like there's a storyline.
The current Eternal Realm into the season afterwards. We're going to get through the season information first.
Yeah.
Well, then I know people are really curious about what happens to my current character. How do I think about that transition? But we'll get to that after we get through the season details.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that's the kind of the high level, like what's happening in the
That's
world
the
of Sanctuary.
theme, right?
Okay, tell us what we're gonna be doing.
Seasonal theme with a seasonal story, but like, what about the mechanic?
Here we go.
On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics that we're looking at?
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can build your character in a different way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case in the preseason when you had just the Eternal Realm. So hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot. Where does the Malignant actually show up? That actually shows up throughout the entire game. When you're playing in the world of Sanctuary, anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster. So that malignant version is going to have these growths on it and some additional power. After you kill it, a heart will actually appear, the exposed malignant heart that was causing this. If you then interact with that heart by using a Cage of Binding, it now starts a ritual where it's pulling all the malignants in and a new, even more powerful version of that elite is spawned.
Yep.
Why would you want this? How does this help you? Well, if you can manage to beat that even more powerful version where you see these other minions are now helping it, these other malignant creatures, now it drops the caged heart. You've actually put all that malignant power into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem in the sense that you can socket it into gear. It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power. Think of a legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you can take these malignant hearts, you can socket them into your jewelry, and that gives you these kind of stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced, but they are extremely powerful. So these are new options of how you can
All right, let's see some examples of it.
This is really, really cool, right? So one of the things we really want to do with each season, to Tim's point, is we want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4, new problems for them to solve, new ways for them to customize their characters and kind of do new cool stuff.
Right.
And that's what Malignant Hearts and the powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So one of these things, so yes, you can take a Malignant Heart that you've managed to collect from one of the consumed that you managed to kill, one of these super malignant creatures that you've killed this way, and you can socket them into your gear. We have over 30. We have 32 new. I'm not gonna say like over 30. We have 32 new malignant powers.
You know exactly how many powers.
Technically, it's 32. So we have 32 new malignant powers are going out this way. These are new legendary power-like abilities. You can see this one here: critical strikes, electrically charge to creatures for a set amount of damage. So these are like there's a lot of really powerful.
I like this idea.
Like this, that you'll be able to kind of like interact with over the course of time. But each of the Malignant Hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. They're associated with a color. So if like Brutal Hearts, for example, or like have a blue color to them, and they'll only go in infested sockets you'll find on rings and jewelry during the season of the Malignant of a matching color.
I see.
So when you're hunting for when you're finding new amulets and rings or gambling at the
some loot to hunt.
you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're
getting kind of like legendary gems,
the new Helltide chest rewards as you're playing from the one.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do.
I'm so glad that guy said that.
So there's three.
I feel like every time I get a unique, it's Mother's Embrace.
There's 3 different types of colored sockets, but there's 4 different types of Malignant Hearts.
Yes. Go on.
Well, okay, I guess I will. So the last Malignant Heart type is called basically a Wrathful. It's an extremely powerful Malignant Heart type. They're very, very rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go. And you kind of want a combination of all of these. So even though the Wrathfuls are pretty strong, you're really only looking to probably have like 1 or 2 of these based on what you might actually need for your build, over the course of time. So it's fun, really want to be able to experiment with, again, creating these different problems for players to solve, different ways for players to engage with things, and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They're going to unlock different builds potentially for classes, to Tim's point, and just basically be like a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power into the experience.
But you're looking for so can the jeweler, right now,
if it's implemented right, this could be
a piece of jewelry.
This could add a lot of replayability, making different builds, but
sockets, or are those only
you can't choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a socket when the season of Malignant starts, it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not like You couldn't get like just a regular jewel socket anymore.
But even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored. Yeah,
so
it'll
you
always
do
be an
the
infested socket in this way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's true for unique. So if I'm looking for a unique, I have a unique ring, like you talked about, but I want the blue version. I could find a
I don't know if
unique
I'd
with
like
a red
that.
socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So I'm looking
That
for
all of them
you
just
might
are
get multiple
infested
versions of
automatically?
uniques as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, fun new stuff to look forward to, and that's just, I mean, that's. We
I mean,
showed
I
in the
guess-
video earlier, like the player fighting a malignant creature.
Diablo 4 is casual,
there's a
or
chance
is
for, as Tim
very
pointed out,
casual
like,
friendly, and
chance
that's
for all
why I was
kinds of
hoping it would be
malignant
like
be malignant in nature,
Right.
which makes them a little bit more powerful.
different
but then when
types
you kill
of
them, and you go and you actually use the cage of
gear,
binding to
specifically
capture
having
their
the
heart.
sockets.
Then you fight that super consume, the consume version. It's like that's gonna be like buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger.
Or like
bigger,
only
bigger,
certain drops have
combat
the
in that
malignant
scene.
sockets, but
there's
I
more
can
and
understand
more
why they
to
did
get
it.
tougher and tougher. And you want to fight higher and higher level versions of those in higher world tiers to get even better versions of those hearts.
Yeah, so you can get stronger versions of the hearts as you get further into the game, and you might be thinking like, okay, does that mean like the old, like the crappy hearts that I got earlier, are those useless? You can actually break those down at the crafter as well to get a crafting material out of them that allows you to craft new items, including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit further on once you finish the campaign of Season 1. You will unlock the ability to go and use these at a specific place called a malignant tunnel.
Yeah,
So
that
if
is
you
true, Josh.
are
By the way,
trying to
that's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Okay.
There we go.
What?
And,
It's a serious thing when you're over 50.
This is,
you should know
and
that.
this,
That's
and
actually a
this
good
is
point.
when
That is a good point.
mute
So if you have a
my-
malignant tunnel, you should get yourself checked out.
So in the world of Sanctuary, when we say malignant tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more of these hearts, but it's just a random chance on elites out in the world. Where can I intentionally find more
It's
of
so
them? There are
nasty.
these malignant tunnels. So there are actually places across the world where the malignance is manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically want to go find more malignant hearts, you can hunt down these tunnels.
Yep.
You can go in and, hey, there are more malignant there. So there's a higher
Okay.
chance of finding malignant monsters there. And
It's good that they give us a targeted areas for it.
Very specific type of malignant heart. How do I make that even more likely? That's when you take your crafted invoker, you go all the way to the end of a malignant tunnel, and you can use it on a malignant outgrowth. When you use it on that outgrowth, it now spawns that specific type of malignant.
They have this
It's gonna
game
have the
volume
colors
too loud.
associated with it of the heart you're trying to find. You kill that, and you're going to get the specific heart. So there's a little bit more targeted farming you can do as you approach the end game of Season 1.
Actually, I have like, if go to the C video, it will be able to show you the going into an Invoker event where you can go in and sort of, which I've heard called the turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an Invoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes. I don't, that wasn't the like art direction on it, but yeah, that's where we ended up.
So yeah, at the end of these malignant tunnels, you're going to find that there are these masses of malignants that you're going to be able to go and interact with, and each of the
That's the
tunnels
one we
has
wanna watch.
a few different ones that can potentially spawn different colors of malignant outgrowth that can spawn from those. So it gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed out, like certain kinds of malignant hearts as the player's progressing through the experience. Yeah.
So why don't we show like we were
That's
just
good.
showing it?
It's very good.
We went,
Technical
yeah, show the one
issues.
you were just showing, because that was
Okay.
the Invoker event. So basically, there's a growth. You get to the end of the tunnel. There's you're able to basically, essentially, you're requesting a monster of a particular color. Yes, you're saying like, I want a blue heart, a chance to get a blue heart by trying to defeat the blue monster. Yes.
That's right, and some of these are like particularly later.
All
on
right,
in the
sounds good,
experience,
Josh.
The most powerful hearts you can get are going to be delivered from things like these Invoker encounters that we
Right.
go and interact with. So yeah, something we're very excited about.
So basically, they use an Invoker on the one of the pods.
That's right. Yeah, the outgrowths from this malignant mass.
Which then creates a blue monster for you to fight. You have to take that down, which will then. So does this one go through the same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture heart to kill
Yeah,
the harder thing?
when this thing pops up after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you don't have to
yeah.
do
Right.
it.
That's right.
Got it. So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, where you basically, I've got a bunch of stuff I'm not using right now. I can craft it down so that I can focus what malignant hearts I want. Because maybe my build, I know I want a brutal heart, but I haven't been running into any blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a malignant tunnel, fight my way to the end, have an opportunity to use the Invoker to create a blue malignant to go after its heart. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Roger's called it out.
And I know.
That's all I'm here to do is summarize.
That's good.
He's like, I will take everything you said, summarize it into 2 sentences. And I know, like, obviously with the story and so forth, there are like new, like a new boss and so forth associated
there's new,
with
but we're not really talking
We're
about
not
the boss too much.
redacted, but yes.
It's worth calling out, yeah.
It is worth calling out.
There's new boss monster for players to fight over the course of the season. There are
All right, that's
new
good.
legendary items for players to collect this season.
Correct.
There's our legendary powers, I should say, for players to collect. There's new unique items for players to collect.
Now those new unique legendaries.
Unique item. Okay, this is good news.
unique.
This is real good news.
Thanks for that. Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the eternal?
That's right. Those will also show up in the Eternal Realm. So
Exactly.
yeah, if you're a player who's
Right.
like really trying to continue to progress your character in the Eternal Realm, there's now.
I don't know how sold I am.
And use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the.
Because it's basically legendary gems.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
But
you probably saw it before on the screen when we looked.
There's
at
probably
the
more like
cinematic
variants,
options,
but-
and we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is, the day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're going to see your game patching on July 18th. That is all of the stuff coming to you that is going to turn on July 20th.
Balance changes, the new items.
Yeah. So July 18th is actually anything that shows up on the Eternal Realm.
All right, so we're
is
getting
there
on the
right away.
20th.
If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters, or a new Eternal character if you want,
2 weeks?
July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about
Yeah,
will
2
be
weeks.
available to you on the Eternal Realm, as well as any other improvements, balance changes, rewards changes that we've made. Those will be there right away on July 18th. July 20th, the season turns on. You can now create seasonal characters.
I think it's like going back to managing expectations. I think one of the things we've been trying to be really clear about with seasons is that it is not a continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like we've been trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working with Corman to solve the Malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about.
It's cool that they have a storyline for the season. For people like me, I know that's not everybody's thing, but I really like that.
This is a new self-contained story.
Awesome.
Within the season of the Malignant.
So, Josh, they said they were adding new legendaries, new uniques, and new aspects.
So as I'm playing through that now,
that'll permanently be in the
amazing if
game.
there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
you
would
want
be
to track,
really.
You want to track your seasonal journey through some kind of feature.
Is that, I don't know if I
They
could
need to
tee
give
that
us
up any higher for you.
leaderboards.
We went from golf to
Yeah, went from golf to t-ball really fast. No, absolutely. So this is obviously with season 1, where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we talked a little bit about on stream before, but I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted all over.
Oh, it's the battle pass. Okay.
So this is,
No top secret.
Yeah. So this is the battle pass introducing as part of season 1, and then going into here you'll see the season journey, and again, so the season journey is separated into 7 chapters. And like these major chapters, and each of those chapters has a number of objectives inside each of them in order to allow you to progress that chapter.
And you don't have to do all of them?
You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter. So I think it's really cool. So like objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops, which can be used to fuel your battle pass, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. Yeah. But you're also, for your chapter completion moments, you're getting big drops of that favor that's going to be used like an experience point value for your battle pass. But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards and.
I think they just said aspects as like a
ones that you can't normally get through the Codex of Power, through like
just new aspects on gear.
Many of our new legendary aspects we're adding in the season. If you're playing in the seasonal realm, you can collect that for your Codex of Power by going to the season journey. So it's great.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, aspects as rewards in the battle pass.
I love this. Like one of the things that's hard about for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels really good to hear.
I love this. The notion around like I like the fact that the subset aspect of it, because I know there are certain things. I'll pick a stupid example. It's like maybe I hate.
I don't know either.
I'm a seller hater, and so I never want to complete a seller.
I don't know how I feel about it in the battle pass.
Chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks below. I think that's great, because that's like I find you get into situations. I have other games where they're like, you must do this thing that you really don't want to do in order to progress, and the fact that I don't have to do that here, that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
That.
Yeah, I think it's really good to hear.
Feels kind of close to
like the base example of this is like
pay to win.
Letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters inside of the season, but we don't, and we want to include that
which is
in
the
season
PvP
journey,
fields,
which is the PvP content in the game. But we don't want to make that like a requirement that you must go do this content in order to progress your season journey. We want to give players the option to do this if they choose.
One thing I do want to call out
There'd be
here as well,
so
with the
so
season
many
journey,
people
I think you're gonna call
going
out
into
some
like
of the
World
ones
Tier
that,
1 as level
it can be
100 and
confusing
just
to
messing
players
people up.
initially That you go to this battle pass.
They need to
screen,
put a cap
click
on
the
that.
Season journey button. Do I have to buy the battle pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with. Actually, everybody has access to the battle pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the battle pass. You're getting free stuff.
In the seasonal realm.
In the seasonal realm.
Yes, in the
Ron has always reminded me to say that. In the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season journey if you're not in the season. That's very important. It only exists there. There's no battle pass if you're not in the season.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So yeah, that's the essentially the way the season journey works. Those final objectives, those final chapters are really tough to complete. You can get some like special like cosmetics, like special like title and things at the towards the end of that path. So we're excited to see players like engage.
I guess I'll just have to see the battle pass to see.
We saw that the season journey grants you a lot of.
They only showed it
favor
for a
to go towards the
second.
battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing stuff. And
That's right. Anything that's like killing monsters, completing like whispers and dungeons and things like all of these things will be earning you favor as you kind of play through the season.
Right.
So anything that's getting you experience points is a chance to give you that favor as well.
So if you have never played the campaign yet, like you're about
See,
to
that's
buy
what
the
I thought
game
too.
For the first time with the season, for example.
I thought it was only cosmetic.
You're like, okay, I'm going to roll a seasonal character. I'm going to play the campaign. The fact that while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff, and I'm still earning favor. Like this stuff is still sort of progressing in the background, right? I just won't run into any.
I agree.
won't run into any malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right.
I almost don't even know if the
As you
XP
play
bonus
through
I would
your
be
point
fine
log
with.
on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign. But a lot of those, and you can also progress your season journey. But some of those
That armor
objectives might
looks
require
sick,
you to
though.
interact with season features that aren't available until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be clear about. I know we're going to talk about the transition later, but in terms of getting access to the mechanic, the idea of talking to Corman, capturing Malignant Hearts, having rings with colored socket or jewelry with colored sockets, that stuff all takes place post-campaign.
That's correct.
And so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these seasonal mechanics.
Yeah, you won't fight malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the campaign on the seasonal realm, but you will shortly thereafter. So one of the things you can do, and I know we're going to talk about this, and we keep saying we're going to talk about this, and then we talk about it anyway. But like, so I would say, like, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in. You can choose to skip campaign when you make your new seasonal character, and dive right into the seasonal story and content immediately.
And that's forevermore. That's one thing we tried to say is that once you complete the campaign on one character on your account,
one character,
for every season moving forward, for any character you create moving forward, you can skip campaign and start off in Kyovashad.
Right. I hope they address renown here.
You know,
not always Kyovashad, but yes.
Is that the only thing that we can be doing to prepare
well,
for
we should
season
get to
one?
we should get to the battle pass. So the favor, so you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
Because you're playing the game, because you're doing your season journey objectives, you're getting even
and
more.
I was going to say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives, and so that favor is feeding into your progress on the battle pass. Whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So can we go back to the screen because I think it's one of the things. What we highlight here is part of the thing is
I
kind
want
of.
to get these armors. These armors look cool. The horse armor.
One of the reasons you would want to complete the battle pass is you could look like this. And by completing the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are wearing. And so, did you want to talk a little bit about kind of this stuff?
I mean, so one of the things that's really cool about a lot of the items in the battle pass, there are these really exciting like armors to chase for the characters. There are like fun new emotes to go chase for different classes, and we have even things like the like what we're showing off here, like the Artisan's Tunic. We have some things that are like these. And this is actually one of our free cosmetics. Actually, is this the things are like a little bit lower fancy that you can use to kind of like.
Could have guessed that was a free cosmetic before you even said it.
Options. And we have like our bigger stuff like this, like this is like the Awoken Cold Iron stuff is like some of
that thing looks cool.
Like real chase armor cosmetics exist at the end of the battle pass.
It's one of the things that like if you notice either the role playing armor like the Artisan Tunic or the helmet, is that one of the big things about the Battle Pass is that unlike the shop, the Battle Pass, all of the cosmetics are class agnostic. So why we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a Barbarian, what it looks like on a Druid, what it looks like on a Necromancer, and those sorts of things. And that's one of the nice things about the Battle Pass is everything you're earning on the Battle Pass, class agnostic.
Yeah, for those class, for those,
That's
for those
good.
transmogs.
The exception is the
That's
transmog
good.
weapons. There are transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes
Classes
only
can
equip
use
certain
specific,
weapons.
yeah.
So if your class can equip that weapon, then you have access to it. Just to reinforce, I think it was already expressed, but there are lots of free things on the Battle Pass. If you pay to upgrade it to the premium Battle Pass, what you're gaining access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things.
Yeah.
So the only thing you're getting access to by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock.
Okay.
So there's really,
I'm cool with that.
stuff, some on the early end, and then especially
Completely
on the
cool with
tail end
that.
of
That
it,
clears up what we were
that's what
talking about,
requires it.
Josh.
But the free version,
Keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
okay, the free version
I know where I
of
want to
it
go after you.
still has some very cool
Totally
unlocks,
fine with this.
And anything related to, well, you wanted to talk more about blessings, right?
Well, that's what they're saying with the free side. Like, so we were saying there's 27 free tiers in the Battle Pass, and part of those 27 free tiers are smoldering ashes that you can get based on the level you are in the game and that you've progressed with favor.
Somebody's microphone is like rubbing and it's super annoying.
So these smoldering ashes the player will collect in the Battle Pass are, as you called out, like they're on the free track of the Battle Pass. You need to be you have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So they're kind of like they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system.
Right.
And here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the player's collecting these ashes, they can invest them here to give all of their characters on the seasonal realm kind of like this advantage able to carry through. So whether that is like bonus to like XP earned from monster kills, like we call out here, or things like boosting the duration of all elixirs that you're using over the course of the season.
Right, and you can looks like I'm assuming that I don't know if it's linear or not, but if I would assume it was linear, I can do it 4 times at 15%, so like 60% duration on elixirs, in terms of that particular,
This is
the earn or prolonging.
a lot of the stuff they're announcing is good.
Just be an extra little fun little thing for players to chase as they're going through the season to kind of help them like boost their characters up a little bit more quickly as they kind of get deeper and deeper into progression through the season and give them a few different advantages to play with while they're playing.
I'm always a little bit
If I were to max out
wary
my
of
smoldering ashes, they're like earn or prolonging is where I
adding a
wanna
bunch
invest
of
my smoldering
currencies because that's where
I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost.
And I know this isn't going to
For me,
stick
it's the extra 200
stick
coins
around
and
after
the
this
armor.
season, but
Okay, that's
curious to
cool.
see like
if you boost, like, get
is this
more
something they're
options
going to
or,
try to do like with Immortal, how there were so many different currencies that you could
And these are
convert?
available
and-
to everyone because
Yes.
who's in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track.
Yes.
And they are limited.
'Cause that's
based
usually
on,
when the shift to pay to win
they're also
starts
limited based
happening.
on level of the player,
But
so that even if
they're
someone were
staying
use
true to their word
like
so
tier
far.
skills, even though they might get to the tier that says free
You unlock
smoldering
an ash,
ashes,
it might require-
it doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for like for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the Battle Pass is I think it's tier 8 maybe.
Tier 8,
Yeah, and it has a level 40 character requirement as an example. Just to make it really, really clear, like you will be able to use this in time, but immediately like you need to continue to progress your character and like, continue to level up, and then you'll be able to use that accordingly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can kind of do my little summary thing. So basically, what we said, so we have a seasonal theme of the Malignant, which has the mechanic.
They need to keep
of
this dude
crafting
around
Malignant
for all
parts and
the-
putting it into jewelry.
all the streams.
We use that to complete our season's journey. Our season journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor we're then putting into the Battle Pass to get really cool cosmetics and transmogs, but also based on our level and our tier in the Battle Pass, we'll get Smoldering Ashes. We can use those Smoldering Ashes to apply a Season's Blessing, which allows us to use those urns and get sort of perks for during just this season that we've unlocked.
That's correct.
So the free person's experience, if you never want to pay a cent, you are still getting a lot of power out of the season journey and the free aspect, the free unlocks on the Battle Pass. So this is kind of an increase in power for everybody. And then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics.
Cosmetics.
And don't get me wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself. But there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your
I'm glad
armor
this
to
dude
look
was here
cool. They don't actually
to clarify this because they were just like
reinforcing what we had
moving
talked
on
about
through it.
before, like even before launch and so forth, is that the Battle Pass itself, anything that if you do pay for a Battle Pass, all the paid items are going to be cosmetics, and for you, it's no pay for power.
And if you bought the Deluxe or the Ultimate Edition, this you already will have an ability to make that a premium Battle Pass. It still doesn't. So that's great for them. So then let's talk a little bit about the transitional side of it in terms of how I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like, one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most about is, hey, I spent a lot of time, and I know I did too. I completed all my renown objectives. I've got full everything, and now I hear, oh, I have to reroll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but it definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the world they've explored on their characters in each of the zones, like in the Fractured Peaks and Scotsland and such, all of that's going to carry over, as well as all of the renown you have earned from all of that, all of the exploration.
So can we bring up the screen? So basically where we see areas discovered, let's say I've actually, we'll say this is this person. So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
Right.
So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas clear inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. And it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown will have unlocked.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're going to have that, and you're also going to have already collected all of your altars of Lilith that you've got from your partner account.
So the same thing here. So I will have 12 will be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have 120 renown in the bank with my other 100. So I'll have 270 renown already earned, waiting for me to claim when I fire up the season.
That's absolutely correct. So these are the advantages you get to start with. And
then we're going to have to redo the dungeons, which I'm okay with, and the strongholds are fun. I'm okay with that.
All of your altars of Lilith is going to get you in each of the zones, basically through the first 2 tiers, and a little bit of the way through the 3rd tier.
Right.
What do you think of that, Josh?
For renown, so you get to start with, like, if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character, you'll start, and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be at sitting at 9 potion charges.
At level 1, you'll have 5 skill points and 9 potions ready to go.
Absolutely. You just claim those things down, you're good to go for the season.
And your map reveal.
And your map reveal. So that goes back to what Tim was teeing up earlier. When we think about...
the only thing that's going to suck is the side quests.
I want to prepare for it. I've got, what is it? It's the 6th today?
Today's the 6th, yes.
So I have 14 days.
14
days. I
days.
have 2 weeks. What should I be doing in these next 2 weeks? And so one was I better get the campaign done because I really want to
complete the campaign,
fight the Malignant. But now, like, if you had places to go to, like, dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars, because those are going to carry into the season.
Yeah, all that stuff will carry over with you.
Okay, so then
a lot of people.
How do I think about? I've got 5, 6 alts, my characters right now in the Eternal Realm.
I'll wait until
we're talking about carrying over progress based on how do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually
you'll still have 2 weeks though. You knock them out today, Josh, you'll still have 2 weeks. That's a decent enough buffer, all right?
There is technical implementation.
I think at least.
We do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for Season 1, but what we need you to do, once Season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is when the patch goes live. You should log in with characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character you've played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this one character I unlocked all the altars and cleared all the fog of war, awesome. You just have to log in with that person. When you log in with that character, all of that progress is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account now. At that point, any character you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in seasons will now have all of that progress. So you have to do it once, but after you've done that, it is now saved to your account. And,
very good.
Just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have if you have unlocked all of these things, it takes a little bit of work, but if you've unlocked all of that, when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast, because extra 5 skill points, extra 5 potions, you are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. Like, that is a lot of extra power.
It will accelerate you a little bit as you start.
And because that is a big caveat, like, we will be reminding everyone. I'm going to be, like, literally screaming from the rooftops. I know we will be posting it in our patch notes on, would that come out for the patch on the 18th, just to remind people that that yes, log into your characters beforehand. Even if you log in, like if you jump into the season later on, you can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Well,
and so forth.
that's the two things because there'll probably be questions. But one is, I don't do that for whatever. I go on vacation. I'm not playing. I come back. The season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character and have all that progress brought to the season. Yes.
Yes.
Even after the season started. So it's not like, oh, you only have 18 to 20 to get it those 2 days.
It's there forever. Functionally, from this point forward, anytime you ever log in on a character, it will just check like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like for example, my Necromancer.
That's
has
good
everything.
because
I've got the
you know
full
I've
bar
created every
on
character and it just feels bad starting a new character and seeing none of the map unlocked. And so this is a needed change.
So let's talk about how good my Necromancer is. No,
and also the fact that they're addressing this. They're addressing they're adding legendaries, aspects, and uniques with this season. So I'm assuming they're going to keep doing it seasons moving on, and they said that's going to be permanent in the game.
Will now have all
So-
the progress that my Necro
Correct.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Those are good.
You know, just to dive really deep.
The seasonal mechanic.
I know we
got two different
should do some
characters.
sort of
You've
dev
got-
stream where we can talk and go deep.
That's true, actually, yeah. So let's say you've got like
I'm
two
not
characters you play. Like one has done everything in the Fractured Peaks.
crazy about, but I don't hate it by any means either. I just have it's more like I just have to wait and see.
God's Glen has unlocked like all the Fog of War has found.
But
all the
most of this is
If I
really
log in on
positive.
my Fractured Peaks character.
The battle pass
and just by doing that, all of that credit would now be transferred to my Scots
alleviate some concerns.
My Scots character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peace characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just like it's and. It's not like the one account that has the most stuff and then I want to log into that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have like tons of progress if they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think to just again, hey, let's talk about managing expectations. Some of you might be saying like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey, prior to season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the altars of Lilith. You would have to go clear the Fog of War. Like the original plan when launching the game or prior to launching
like,
the original plan,
why was that?
There was no
That's the thing that baffles me is like, why was that the original plan?
Part of this.
Did these people play the
player
game?
Feedback as we talked about seasons and hearing the response that we got about what I have to find all the altars again, what I have to clear the map again, and wanting to make sure that
I mean, they're making it
players,
right, so it's all good. But it's just funny how they're like,
it's not the most smoothest, most sophisticated because we were doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Hey, did you want it done?
Yeah,
did you want it done?
The
answer is
I'm
yes.
just saying, like that wasn't the design from the start was not to do this.
Right.
Log in a character on the 18th and make it pass.
Yeah,
That's what we had to do to make it happen for season 1.
And this was based off of obviously player feedback that we've got since launch. So this is us implementing it quickly to address the feedback that you guys have been giving.
And they're listening. That's
like a huge shout out to our.
They're listening and they're making changes. So
implemented before we actually jump into the season.
Much like that Nightmare Dungeon.
the core of the game is really good.
Happen and very quickly. So
They're addressing the flaws. As frustrating as some of those flaws may be, they're addressing them.
Right.
First answer is they cry.
Yeah. And then there's okay, well, what about to make it work right now? And always, if you told me you wanted to do this X months ago, I could have done it way easier because we implemented it completely differently. So yeah, we make it work, but sometimes the fact that you have to log in to get the progress propagated, we would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right, all right. Like zoom in on me. Zoom in on me.
Come closer.
Let's do that. Okay, it's not gonna happen. There it is. Okay, yeah. All right. It's a live game. We know we need to it's a live game. We know we are looking at trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves, and we're kind of seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant audience of players playing and enjoying the game. We want to make sure that we are making the right changes as quickly as we can for the community. Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program, like we're hearing feedback about this and this, and like inventory space. We talked about gems last time and things we want to do there. We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging technically to do than others, but we are rapidly moving.
But I don't understand.
We are fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4 possible in the fastest time frame that we can to deliver to the player base, because we're players too. We also want the same things. So just know that we're working hard. We care deeply. We love our engineers and our designers and our producers, and the staff's been helping with like all of like the hotfix and everything else. We are trying to make sure that we are delivering a really, really high quality experience to players on a regular basis. So just stick with us. Keep giving us that feedback. We're going to keep making adjustments as we go.
Like, I believe this dude, and he's clearly like passionate about it.
Joe would like to make a change based on feedback he's seen from reading it wherever he reads it. The first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request.
But like, why can't a gem tab or extra stash tabs,
could we do this right now?
or just expanding the current stash tab? Why can't we have that right now? That doesn't seem like a difficult fix.
But this is the thing about about doing it safely. Like, I think one of the sort of the junior mistakes some people can make is this idea of like time is only what it takes to implement, and it's not. It's time is also what it takes to test and make sure that it's robust and stable. And so that's one of the things that, like, when you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know, we're up to 15, 16 hot fixes or more now.
Yeah.
And our big client patches is that ability is not only can we get
but the resistances in the stash, they don't seem like they should take that long.
Heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes,
I would like an explanation as to why that takes so long.
Exciting. Season 1, Season of the Malignant.
Yes. It's finally here.
Yes.
I'm waiting to reveal this for a long
2 weeks?
time.
In 2 weeks, and again, like Tim
it's
had
not
mentioned,
technically here for you all, but soon, very soon.
As Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the
I forgot they're
changes that will be coming in.
doing a patch today.
If Tiffany Watt were here, who was on our campfire chat before,
hey Josh, that's you.
Categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize in Tiffany Watt's words as super chonky for season 1. It actually is our largest, or chonkster, as Tim called it. I think we were chonkers. So we're gonna pull.
Is
up
that today?
and actually go through it. The history
or is that part of the 18th patch?
Yeah, it is very big. So we will have notes up for that. And again, players can prepare for season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
The campaign,
and making sure, clear fog of war, discover the map.
Have you seen
get all your altars? So,
did they release the patch notes yet?
Come for Diablo 4, and then again we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What class our balance changes to bug fixes to. You name it, I can go on. There's even
I totally agree.
Changes coming for some Nightmare and Helltide related activities as well, some endgame activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding like, hey, it would be great if we can get like maybe better rewards with some of these activities, and so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well.
Good.
But I know we want to do Q&A.
We do.
And this is a live stream, by the way. Yeah. So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know.
Could you imagine being a mod
so we're actually going to be bringing
for this live stream? How many like trolls are in there?
We're going to kick off Rod because we're done with him. No, I'm just kidding. Rod is actually.
I'm actually going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know. It's the worst.
Rod's the best part of this thing.
We're actually going to bring back in Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team. Who will be jumping in here.
I think you're supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job. I didn't do my job.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring
Okay, thanks for checking that.
We have questions queued up from different people.
There is no way anyone's going to ask about Immortal.
Feel free
no way.
To drop in questions and everything.
Chris is not quite in. You need to switch clearly.
Oh, I need to scooch too because I think I'm
yeah, I think we can scooch a little bit more.
Live television. We're scooching live.
And we're scooching live scooching.
So here's the problem. We also the production team hates me. I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here because I literally go like, oh, we're only going to have like 2 people, and then we continue to add people, and then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday. So now suddenly we're up to like 20 people.
No, he dropped over 100,000, man.
They are angels.
Over 100,000.
But we do have some questions, and I will be kind of going back and forth in between both of them. But we do. Oh, perfect. We do have some questions up here. Someone's also calling me, which is awful at this time. Quick question: any updates around? This is for D4 specifically. Any updates around respecting characters?
Yeah, so right now I think that there's a few different concerns we're hearing from the community. There's the general cost of respecting characters, and then there is at various stages of the game, and then there is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper in the Paragon system.
I agree.
That takes
No
a
game.
lot of effort.
100,000.
So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side. Things we want to do to improve the flow of allowing players to respect their characters.
All right, so they're gonna the refund all.
Designs for things we're looking to add into seasons in the future, but we don't have a date that we're committing to.
I don't have a problem with the gold cost.
And in terms of the actual price of that, we're evaluating things on like the gold economy, and we're taking a look at like what players are doing on a regular basis. We're not making any fundamental structural changes to today.
I like that.
But we are.
I like that because gold should mean something.
One thing we will be adding though is as part of seasons, there's now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey at the end of each season, called the Scroll of Amnesia. Which once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go for no gold cost at all. So these are going to be like pretty fun things to bring back with you to the Eternal Realm if you want to use for future playthroughs or for that character or another character. So we want to make sure that we're
That's nice.
Adding a few of these as the players progressing through the experience. Kind of make that a little bit easier for players to go through.
That's nice. Getting an item in game that can do that. That's clutch.
Yeah.
Awesome. For Immortal, we have a question from, I'm reading everyone's names, 8 Miles West. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on, but if you guys want to reiterate.
The Blood Knight will cost nothing. The Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So if you're a new Immortal player,
nobody asked that question.
An existing Immortal player, you can literally.
That was a planted question.
Playing,
simply so they could say that
on day one, which is on July 13th. So.
I don't know. Was it? Did they say one per season, or was it? It would be in loot drops.
VO and everything associated with it.
That's right.
For D4, I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually that's a safe statement all the time. Is you should be more prepared.
We have Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like,
it's perfect.
Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad idea.
Okay. Either way, that's cool. I wonder if it's one per season or one per character that you played in this season.
That's your design armor.
Question from Fig Larna.
You committed to saying the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not real questions.
Yeah, from Fig Larna.
Yo, what's up?
Will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends? I think that's
have you been watching?
I should clarify really well.
That is a great question that actually gets asked internally as well a lot. Like, hey, this is awesome. Are we going to keep it around forever? Initially, no. Like, initially, the version of the Malignant mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something cool and we think, wow, this is just fantastic, this should just be part of the game, that we will just make it part of the game. So it is absolutely
I like that answer.
Some mechanics you might see in future seasons.
I like that because something like Ethereals in D3, I love the Ethereals. And that would have been so dope if they would have kept them in.
This is working really well. This is something that we want to integrate with the.
They'd have to like balance it a little bit better, but
it's just 1 second longer. That's not to suggest that we're not going to be, as part of the seasons, intentionally using those update opportunities to create content for the base game, like stuff that will persist beyond the end of the season. But we really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like, Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess.
That's 100%. That's 100% fair.
What we would end up needing to do is all of those things would be extremely incremental in terms of what they offered to the players over the course of time. And it would make the game extraordinarily dense in terms of what the players expected to do on a regular basis.
And to understand.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features.
Thanks, Josh.
Content that we want to add to the game in
Have a good time at work, buddy.
Need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go.
Appreciate you stopping in.
Malignant Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in Season 1, then add something of similar size in Season 2, and then Season 3 and Season 4, because the game's going to get extremely dense and difficult for players to really navigate. We want to be able to like take these things away.
It's totally true, because like they don't want it.
Really well,
I like PoE, but they don't want it. They don't want this to turn into PoE where.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season.
You start adding stuff like that every single season. The game gets really complex, and it's hard for casual people to jump in.
Doesn't like to play alts.
I understand that.
The same class. I just love playing barbarian, and I have 3 different barbarians already on Eternal because it's the perfect class.
Player, and all you play is rogues, and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too. But let's say a barbarian. That's my hypothetical. I'm sticking with it. So I'm a barbarian lover, and I've made all these barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to make a new barbarian because we have all of these new malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are completely different from barbarians you play.
And that's essentially what we're looking for with every season, right?
So
is
that excitement goes away.
new
if we just say,
builds,
oh,
like
all of these powers,
things being implemented that
the whole idea is that no, every season is a
that
fresh new
shift
experience that
the
gives you
current
builds that
meta.
did not exist previously. So
And honestly,
it is
in
some of that
seasons,
stuff
what I'm
is
looking
always
for too is
designed
like cool ways to break the game, right? That's
one of the things.
This is Rod off camera speaking.
Rod camera. Hey,
Yeah.
voice
All
guy.
right.
Joe,
Yes.
maybe speak to the fact that everybody starts at the same place of the season is one of the benefits, so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this.
And
as well.
people get
When
shit on for
one of the
this,
reasons we really like
for,
the idea of
like,
players
newer
start back
casual
fresh,
players,
economy reset, players
like
can jump
being
back into
wary
level
of
1 characters,
seasons.
is it allows us
But
to focus on making
like
sure
even
that
myself
how you
years
guys
ago,
learn
first getting
is
into it, I
really
remember one of my
engaging
friends was
and
explaining it to me, and I didn't get it
You wanna make
until
sure
I
that by the
started
first
playing.
session, for example, like you're getting
So
exposed to, like,
anybody that
new,
watches this, if you're in that
features
boat,
and
like
content available
just
to
trust
introduce into
seasons
the game.
are
And everything
what
feels like it's
you
balanced in such a way
play an
that players can
ARPG
really
for.
enjoy the new things that we're adding, and the way that they're
Like
intelligent
nobody
mixed with
that
the
I
rest
know,
of
and
the
I'm
game
personally,
itself.
I don't play on the
Like,
full
everything of that
realm
experience
or the
is
eternal
what makes
realm
the Diablo game a
after
Diablo game
season
in a way.
start.
It's like making a new character, getting those item drops, like building up towards the end. With regards to like the way that we decided to conduct our efforts in seasons for Diablo 4, we think this is a really like the prime example of the way that we.
So like what we've been playing is just like it's the base, and they're gonna build upon it, and
if somebody buys the game,
yeah,
we can be frustrated with what we've got, which is totally fair for a lot of things.
I'm gonna mess with the
But
camera.
it's
people.
only
You
going to
can't
get
do it,
better.
can you? You can't even get there. All we can do is I can just have my talking and stuff. Oh, hey, what's going on? The notion of the thing that we're talking about is that we want, again, the game is a live service. The game's gonna live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind when it comes to. So one of the benefits of seasons is, in season 4, on day 1, you and I are both level 1. I bought it that day. You have owned the game for a year. We're in the same place. We can play together and have fun together. And so, as opposed to everybody from this moment on is now falling
Which is a
behind,
totally fair
seasons
thing.
allows us to have that fresh
It's a
start.
totally fair thing.
Yeah, that's actually.
And I'm excited for anybody that hasn't experienced seasons before. They're just a ton of
want to
fun.
come in a little bit later into the game experience. If you've taken a season or two off because something else came out, we want to make sure that it feels like whenever you. The most important thing for us in seasons, like kind of going off script in a different way now, is that like when you're playing seasons and you're playing Diablo 4, you're having a great time. And when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really, really important, and you want to go like take a break to go play something else for a little while, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. We do the same thing.
You don't fall behind.
But when a season rolls and there's new things for you to come check out, that's a great time to come back, particularly if you had a good time playing before.
Yeah,
That's
and you
exactly
see
when
this
come back and check out Diablo
with
4,
the player charts, like the player count charts. When a season starts, they peak, and then for like after a week or two, when people go through and do everything that they want to accomplish, you go on, you move to something
Question
else.
here from Jeffrey Allen, and didn't specify the D4 DI, so I'm actually going to ask both because I think this is relevant to both. Also,
why do you have a new mic?
I actually don't know. But yeah. 2 mics, guys. I'm very.
I'm too mic Adam.
You have me in stereo. Can you say which cosmetics will be transferring between characters? So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4. But in regards to transferring cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, does that actually also appear on the Blood Knight?
So cosmetics purchased prior to the Blood Knight's release will not be retroactive. However, the sorry, what was the Mother's Lament set?
While they're talking about Diablo Immortal and nobody cares about, like, it seems counterintuitive,
Okay, cool. So,
like that they
going
want
forward, there will
people,
be now
like
new
the player count
cosmetics
peaks in the
available for
beginning of the
Blood Knight,
seasons
just
and
as
then
they are for all the other
just
classes in Immortal.
drastically
And then I
decreases
guess
after the first
D4,
couple of
will
weeks.
cosmetics
Like
be
that adds to the
transferring, to
longevity
seasons,
of the game,
and,
though, because
will they
you
need to be
stop from
reobtained?
getting
I know this
kind of
was, like,
stop
a
from
question
getting
that we get
burnt
a lot
out.
from people in regards to
So like when I say I played
transmods and
Diablo 4 for
if you salvage
years, or
specific
Diablo
stuff,
3
how
for
does that,
years,
work between,
like I wasn't constantly
characters
playing
from
it for
Eternal
years. It was
to
like coming back to seasons.
Yeah, I believe that's all transferring over with you when you go into the
It's just- it's a
and
great
obviously
system.
Every cosmetic set that you're purchasing via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Some seasons are hit or miss, though.
Your whole account
That kinda
has
sucks,
access to it forever is the current functionality.
I would imagine that this first season they're going to knock out of the park because they've been planning it for so long. I'm going to keep an open mind to it.
Nightmare, this is from Kincho Kimo. This is Nightmare teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather than just to the entrance?
Very good
So this
question.
one I think is interesting because Nightmare, we obviously incorporated the teleport here in 103. It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten, and the team jumped on it really quickly to implement it in a specific way. We have been seeing a lot of feedback in regards to players having to teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, I know, implementation from the team and everything. So I know it's something that we've been hearing from our side, and it's something that we're going to be looking at more here in the future for optimizing and making sure that we can implement and maybe in a better way from some of the features that we've been just kind of adding in really quickly. On Immortal, we have. Was there some sort of Castlevania inspiration with the Blood Knight? Looking very.
Why are they taking just as many Immortal
popular
questions?
characters from that franchise?
I wonder how many people. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Immortal. Maybe I'm just like stuck in. I don't know. I just didn't think anyone played it anymore.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
I think when you're working.
All those people that were like the whales on YouTube
in fantasy, like vampires,
like went away.
You take
I thought
inspiration from all over. The spear thing puts us in mind of Vlad the Impaler. The aesthetic, you've already talked about some potential references, but I think for us is
that Blood Knight though. It looks really cool.
As what we leave in, we don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiric myths. They are very specifically grotesque, blood, shadow, knightly weapons oriented, and so there were things like turning into mist, like turning into wolves, etc., that we immediately said, hey, these need to be off the table. And so in that regard, I think there's a lot of.
I would really like for this Blood Knight to come to D4 eventually, but
dialed-in identity.
I would imagine they're going to keep it as like a way to incentivize people to play Immortal.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4, we have. Will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making changes after the season starts?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So,
this is from Godic, by the way. So there you go.
Okay,
I just wanted
this
to.
Is a real person. So yes, this is a good question. So we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we're bringing some builds back into where we expect them to be functionally and performance-wise. When we go into the seasonal release, we do want to create structured moments in time that we're going to be talking about, I think, more in future streams when we expect like buffs and nerfs to happen. So we have like a regular set of like patches that are going to be occurring after the season is released, where we have like a better schedule like in cadence when we're talking about these things. We really want to try to reserve like big nerfs and big buffs for only like extreme outlier cases, and things were like really damaging the end game experience for a number of players. So we want to try to keep that more constrained, and we also want to have just fewer general like off cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence like we talked about.
Yeah, things will be pretty stable throughout the course of the season.
And again, that's understandable that in the first month things are a little hectic, especially with all of the feedback.
Using Malignant Power,
yeah,
we're gonna patch that.
So,
but otherwise, we're gonna try and keep things.
I think that's fair. Give them time to get into a rhythm with it.
Close on time because we were planning on this stream to be 90 minutes and we were 1 minute away. So I'm gonna lightning off a few questions. A big question within chat is obviously about stash space, which is something that we kind of just talked about a little bit earlier.
But they didn't really answer it.
We definitely hear everybody about this. We are talking a lot about what we need to do with this. We've got good plans of things we can do to improve the situation. I know it's frustrating to hear me say like, what you were able to do this, like you could be able to do like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really quickly on this, and we're gonna be trying to provide more space in the future. We're figuring out how like we're gonna.
I bet they're facing.
Also, one thing to note is I know we talked about during campfire chats
a roadblock
like,
of
gems and so forth.
Blizzard wanting to monetize stash space.
So I know when that hits, like that will obviously free up.
That's the only thing to me that makes sense for why it's taking so long.
Trying to mitigate this a bit.
And then Jim, the Q guy, asked how much time between seasons. He still wants to level up his main. So in between seasons, obviously, we had talked about seasons lasting 3 months.
It's a minimum of 12 weeks. Sometimes it might be a little longer, but you'll always
Correct.
have at least 12 weeks to complete your season.
Correct. Yeah. So you guys will hear
the calendar dates, right? But
so you guys will hear like no matter what within or like once we hit that 3-month period, you'll start to hear news about the next
Standard.
season,
That's pretty standard.
and everything like that. And then this one, I guess for Rod, are there any plans on new classes coming to Diablo 4? We've just heard about the Blood Knight, so they're
We have nothing to announce at this time.
Oh, wow. That was very straight.
Yeah, Rod sitting off camera can answer that perfectly. So
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything like that.
I think we're gonna wrap it here for today.
Honestly, the fact that we're getting a
talked
patch
about,
today,
all the stuff with Diablo Immortal for
a nice
the Blood Knight
surprise.
coming out on July
This was
13th.
overall pretty positive.
We also have for Diablo 4 Season 1, Season of the Malignant, which is going to be
Not blown
the patch will
away.
be on July 18th. And then the actual season starts on July 20th. We do actually have 2 blogs, one on DiabloImmortal.com and one on Diablo4.com. They'll be going live either right now or immediately after this live stream. That'll have all the details and information that we just talked about here on the stream. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up here for Diablo.
Patch this afternoon.
Oh yes, and there's a patch this afternoon. You'll be seeing. Oh, I forgot. That's why I have to do it immediately after the stream. I was trying to get out of it, guys.
These guys are moving.
We will have a patch. We'll have patch notes.
At the pace in which they're allowed.
Diablo4.com. We have a patch article that will actually note.
So I've got a lot of faith the game's going to keep improving, and it's again, it's frustrating that
it will be on all platforms.
Like for me, the biggest thing is the loot system.
Coming up here in the next few
I
weeks.
think needs
really excited. Happy
needs to
Diablo
revamp,
family.
but that's something I can't
Tons of stuff
do
coming up. I know we will be rating 2
immediately. It's
Diablo
gonna take
content
time.
creators immediately after the stream.
But
one on
adding
Twitch,
the
which is Barricade,
legendaries,
and
the
other one on
aspects,
YouTube, which is
and all that other
Pushwood.
stuff into
Make
it.
sure to tune into those guys. And thank you guys so much. Thanks for
In
tuning
season 1,
into,
that's a good start.
The Diablo developer update live stream, and from everyone here on the Diablo team, we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. I'm gonna go through their blog post, kind of decompress, think on some of the things that I saw, and then I'm gonna be putting together a video that I'm gonna release later tonight. So, yeah, and that'll be posted probably, what is it, like 2:30 right now? You know, give me a few hours to go through it, and then I'll give you my thoughts, some questions I've still got. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. So when I post that video, or in the comments once this one gets posted, let us know what you're thinking about Season 1 and how Blizzard is responding to all of the community feedback so far. Appreciate you watching. Check you in a few hours, I guess.